Welcome from English Podcast Station. Hello everyone, welcome. If you learn English, this video is for you. It tells the story of Nelson Mandela. He was a hero in South Africa. He fought for freedom. You will hear simple English. You will learn new words. We will follow Mandela's amazing life. His journey was about courage. It involved sacrifice. He showed great leadership. This story is important for history. It is also good for your English. You will improve your listening. You will understand more. So, relax. Listen carefully. Let's learn about hope. Chapter 1, A Boy in the Countryside. Nelson Mandela was born in 1918. The date was July 18th. He was born in a small village. This village was in South Africa. His first name was Rolilala. In his culture, this name meant troublemaker. No one knew then what kind of trouble he would cause. It was for the unfair system in his country. But it was the best kind of trouble. He grew up in a traditional African way. His father was a local chief. Mandela played with other children. He looked after animals. He listened to old stories. These stories taught him about his people. He learned about history. He learned about traditions. He learned about respect. He learned about community. He learned to work with others. When he was 7, Mandela started school. This was a big change. He had to wear new clothes. He learned to read. He learned to write in English. This was the start of a bigger journey. He would learn about problems. These problems faced his people. Even as a young boy, Mandela was determined. He was also thoughtful. He listened to the adults. He started to understand. Life was not fair for black people in South Africa. This early understanding was important. It would shape his whole life. Chapter 2, Learning and Growing. Mandela was a good student. He liked to learn. He did well in school. He went to a bigger school. It was called Hilltown. There, he met other young people. They also knew about the unfairness in South Africa. They talked about the laws. These laws separated black and white people. They talked about the bad treatment. It happened every day. After Hilltown, Mandela went to Fort Hare University. It was a special place for black students. This was a very important time for him. At university, he met important people. He joined student politics. He learned more about fighting unfair rule. This happened in South Africa and other places. He studied law. He wanted to use his knowledge. He wanted to help his people. He wanted to fight unfair laws. He wanted a fair society. Mandela was a good speaker. He was a natural leader. People liked his intelligence. They liked his strong sense of right and wrong. But university was not always easy. Mandela joined a protest. He was asked to leave. This was a setback. But it did not stop him. He still wanted to learn. He still wanted to fight for what he believed. He kept studying law in other ways. We will continue writing in short sentences like this for the rest of the script. This will make it easier for beginner English learners to understand. We will still include all the important information about Nelson Mandela's life and his fight for freedom. Chapter 3, The Fight Begins. Mandela grew older. He got more involved. He fought against apartheid. Apartheid was a system of laws. These laws separated people. The separation was based on race. It happened in South Africa. White people had all the power. Black people were treated badly. They could not vote. They had to live in separate areas. They had fewer chances for school. They had fewer chances for work. Mandela joined the African National Congress. It was called the ANC. This group worked to end apartheid. At first, the ANC used peaceful ways. They had protests. They wrote petitions. Mandela was important in these early efforts. He helped to organize people. He helped their voices be heard. But the government became worse. They were very unfair. Peaceful protests were met with violence. People were arrested. Mandela and other leaders understood something. Peaceful ways might not be enough. In the early 1960s, the government banned the ANC. After this, Mandela and others made a decision. They formed a military group. It was called Umkhonto we Sizwe. This means, Spear of the Nation. This group wanted to use sabotage. They would target government buildings. They would target power plants. They would target transportation. They wanted to put pressure on the government. They wanted the government to change its rules. They tried not to hurt people. Mandela became a key leader in this new fight. He traveled around the country secretly. He organized people. He inspired people to join. He became a symbol. He symbolized resistance. He symbolized hope for black South Africans. Chapter 4: Underground and on the Run. During this time, Mandela had to hide. He used different names. He moved from place to place. He did this to avoid the police. This was a dangerous life. It was also difficult. He was away from his family. He always had to be careful. Even while hiding, Mandela worked hard. He organized strikes. He gave speeches in secret. He helped to plan sabotage. People called him the Black Pimpernel. This was because he was good at hiding from the police. The government thought Mandela was dangerous. They called him a criminal. They wanted to catch him. They wanted to stop the growing resistance. They offered a lot of money. This was for anyone who could give information about him. They were determined to find him. Even while he was underground, Mandela's influence grew. He became a strong symbol. He symbolized the fight against unfairness. This was not just in South Africa. It was around the world. People started to hear about his courage. They heard about his commitment to freedom. Chapter 5: Arrest and Trial. In 1962, the police finally caught Nelson Mandela. He had been hiding for many months. This was a big problem for the anti-apartheid movement. He was arrested. He was put on trial. The charges were sabotage and other things. The trial was a big event. It was important in South Africa. It was also important around the world. Mandela used the trial. It was a chance to speak out. He spoke against apartheid. He explained why he and the ANC were fighting it. His speeches were strong. They were also moving. He defended his actions. He argued for a fair society. He wanted everyone in South Africa to be equal. One of his most famous speeches ended with these words: "I have hope for a free society. In this society, everyone lives together. They live in peace. They have the same chances. This is what I hope to live for. This is what I want to achieve. But if needed, I am ready to die for this idea." Despite his strong words, Mandela was found guilty. So were other ANC leaders. In 1964, he was sentenced. He would spend his life in prison. This was a sad day. It was sad for those fighting for freedom in South Africa. Chapter 6: Life Behind Bars. Mandela spent 27 years in prison. It was a long time. He was moved to different prisons. The conditions were often bad. He was away from his family. He did not see his friends. He had very little contact with the outside world. Even in prison, Mandela was a symbol. He symbolized hope. He symbolized resistance. He was locked away. But his spirit was not broken. He continued to inspire people. This happened inside and outside of prison. In prison, Mandela brought people together. He kept the spirit of fighting alive. This was among the other prisoners. He also used his time to study. He thought about the future of South Africa. The government had hoped for something else. They thought prison would stop the anti-apartheid movement. But the opposite happened. Mandela's imprisonment got more attention. People around the world saw the unfairness of apartheid. More and more people wanted him to be free. We will keep using short sentences. We will add more details about Mandela's time in prison. We will also talk about how it affected the movement against apartheid. Chapter 7: International Pressure. Years went by. More and more people learned about Nelson Mandela. They learned about the fight against apartheid. This was in South Africa. Countries started to put pressure. Organizations also put pressure. They wanted the South African government to change. They wanted Mandela to be free. People boycotted South African goods. Many countries stopped trading with South Africa. South African sports teams were banned. They could not play in international games. The world was more and more united. They all said apartheid was wrong. People held protests. They demanded Mandela's release. He became famous around the world. He was a symbol of human rights. He symbolized equality. Musicians sang about him. Artists made art about him. They wanted people to know about his situation. They wanted people to know about the unfairness of apartheid. The pressure from other countries was important. It helped to bring change to South Africa. The government started to feel alone. The economy was also hurting. This was because the world did not approve of apartheid. Chapter 8: Seeds of Change. Inside prison, Mandela was still important. He started to have secret talks. He talked with people from the government. These talks were the first signs of change. Mandela believed talking was important. It could help find a peaceful solution for South Africa. These early talks were hard. They were also slow. There was not much trust. Both sides did not trust each other. But Mandela was determined. He wanted to find a way forward. He knew the future of South Africa needed to be peaceful. Everyone needed to live together. Slowly, the government started to understand. They could not stay in power forever. They could not keep treating people unfairly. The world was against them. People inside the country were fighting back. The economy was bad. All these things were causing problems. In the late 1980s, things started to change. Some political prisoners were released. There were hints of new rules. The world watched carefully. They hoped for something good to happen. We will continue to use short sentences. We will add more details about these secret talks. We will also talk about how the government started to change its mind. Chapter 9: Freedom at Last. In 1990, something amazing happened. Nelson Mandela was finally released. He had been in prison for 27 long years. People all over the world celebrated. They were happy to see Mandela free. His release was a turning point. It changed the history of South Africa. It was the beginning of the end of apartheid. It was the start of a new time. This time was full of hope. Mandela came out of prison. He had a message for everyone. It was a message of forgiveness. It was a message of unity. He asked all South Africans to work together. They needed to build a new society. In this society, everyone would have equal rights. He was very important in the talks with the government. These talks were about ending apartheid. They were about making new laws. His leadership was crucial. He could help people come together. This was very important during this hard time. Chapter 10: A New South Africa. After he was free, Mandela worked very hard. He wanted to create a new South Africa. In 1994, he became the first president. This was a democratic South Africa. It was a very important moment. It meant the end of many years of unfairness. It meant the end of separation based on race. As president, Mandela focused on bringing people together. He wanted to heal the wounds of the past. He started the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. This was a special group. People who were hurt could share their stories. People who did bad things could also share their stories. This was painful, but it was important for the country to move forward. Mandela was a great leader during this change. He showed wisdom. He showed kindness. He wanted justice for everyone. He worked to create new rules. These rules would protect everyone's rights. He wanted a fairer society. He also did important work around the world. He spoke for peace. He spoke for human rights. Chapter 11: Legacy and Inspiration. Nelson Mandela stopped being president in 1999. He was president for one term. But he continued to speak for peace and justice. He did this until he died in 2013. He was 95 years old. His life story is amazing. It shows courage. It shows strength. It shows how people can overcome bad things. He showed the world something important. Even after many years of unfairness and prison, you can forgive. You can work towards a better future. Mandela's life still inspires people. They are fighting for freedom. They are fighting for equality. They are fighting for human rights. His message of hope is still important today. The world still has many problems. He taught us something important. We need to stand up for what is right. We need to do this even when it is hard. He showed us the power of forgiveness. He showed us the importance of working together. We need to build a more fair and peaceful world. Nelson Mandela's story reminds us. One person can make a difference. The fight for freedom is a long journey. It needs courage. It needs sacrifice. It needs hope that never gives up.